On this life flight, a diving expedition goes terribly wrong.
You can be paralyzed, you can die. As simple as that.
Wellington's weather does its worst.
We're going to attempt the hospital, but no guarantees till we're safely down.
And the search is on.
Plane on the hill at 3 o'clock.
Be ready to call it a day when time's up.
When emergencies strike, time, distance, and the men and women of life flight can be the difference between life and death. This is life flight. Specialist medical treatment is often only available in 1 or 2 of New Zealand's hospitals. The life flight fixed wing plane is the fastest, safest way to get patients to urgent care, hundreds of kilometres away.
It's just a couple of bumps to get into the ambulance.
Flight nurse Karen Hathaway and crewman Phil Harris are at Hutt Hospital picking up their latest patient, a diver suffering from the bends.
Ron, I'm just going to start that fluid back up into your drip again, so we might just need to keep your arm a little bit straighter. Yeah, that's good.
South African expat Ron belongs to a local dive club and was out in stormy, low-visibility conditions.
We misplaced one of the divers, so we went up from 50 metres. Surfaced quite rapidly. I dumped my air and basically head spinning.
The bends occurs when nitrogen bubbles form in the bloodstream, preventing oxygen being absorbed by blood vessels. Ron's symptoms worsened in the middle of the night.
Pain hit, basically. I was fast asleep and then I was wide awake of the pain.
A visit to a doctor in his lunch break ended with Ron calling his wife with the news that he had the bends.
It's vital that patients with the bends are transferred in a fixed-wing aircraft at sea level pressure, and that's to make sure that none of these symptoms are exacerbated at all by going to a higher altitude.
The keen diver is very aware of his worst-case scenario.
The thing is, you can die. If it bubbles go into your brain, you can be paralyzed, you can die. As simple as that.
In the life flight hangar, Captain Ian Perry is preparing for a challenging flight that will require special flying conditions.
Because it's a diver with probable bends, we need to keep the cabin at sea level, which means that we've got to pressurise the aeroplane earlier than we would normally, fly at a lower level, and try and avoid any pressure changes on his body. So that's the difference from a normal flight. We'll get him on board and take him to Christchurch, where he can go into the decompression chamber. Keep your elbows in, won't you?
And clear on the left, starting 1.
Clear, RPM 100.
Power set, 70 knots.
High control.
Fuel control.
Balancing the cabin pressure during takeoff will require concentration and skill from Ian and First Officer Sid Elwell.
Positive rate. Gear up. Cruise power is set. Pressurisation.
Checked. Karen, we've got a going to 12,000 foot with a sea level cabin.
Okay. Cool. So we're just on the plane now. We're heading off to Christchurch. We're going to get Ron down to the hyperbaric unit. It's about a 50-minute flight.
Minutes into the journey, Ron's condition worsens.
Hello, Phil.
Karen was concerned that we are at absolutely sea level. I said we are. Because since we got airborne, his pain level in his arms actually increased.
Wellington has some of the most difficult flying conditions in the world, and pilot Alan Deal is expecting today to be no exception.
It's going to be very, very rough. The wind at the moment is going to make it a very uncomfortable ride because we're going to be in the lee of the hills both ways.
Despite the strong winds, the team must take to the air to help a Carterton mother. Flight nurse Jane Shepherd knows the gravity of the situation.
We've got a 49-year-old lady who's presented to hospital this morning with central chest pain. They found that she's been having a heart attack and given her thrombolysis, which in theory breaks down the clot. But unfortunately for her, she's continued to have chest pain. The pain is generally heart muscle that's dying, so if she's not transferred across, her heart will die and she could die as well.
Tower Capital 01 is ready and requesting a right turn via the harbour entrance. Good down the roll. Yep. I'll hop across the other side and try and get on the updrafting side of the gully.
Crewman Dave Greenberg is helping Alan navigate the rough conditions.
You look down at the water in front of us, you can see where the wind's disturbing the water, and that's when we're going to fly through. We're just about to get a big battering just going past the gully.
Okay, thank you. This is one of the rougher flights I've ever had. Oh God.
Lively stuff.
And just remembering this is what the patient's going to come back in. Are you happy with that?
I guess the other option is going by road, but unfortunately that's quite a lot slower. If we don't fly the lady back, her heart will have irreparable damage. I think it's worth trying to get her back to Wellington with life flight.
I agree, just thought I would double check it.
Yeah, thank you. I will warn her though.
Well, that should put us through the worst of it now.
Should being the key word in that lesson.
Yeah.
Any extra stress could worsen the patient's heart attack, and Jane must be prepared.
Often it's just keeping their anxiety down, I think, as well as not showing it on our faces.
All secure for landing, I would assume, because no one would have taken out their seatbelt.
Absolutely.
Here you go, Dave.
Thank you, Alan. Awesome job.
No worries.
The team are relieved the first part of their journey is over.
I think I was hanging on for dear life on those bags.
But the Wellington winds are strengthening, and Alan's long years of flying tell him the return journey will be worse.
Just ride it like a raft in the river, basically. There's only a certain amount you can do, otherwise you're pretty much along for the ride.
On the Masterton Hospital helipad, the team are preparing to fly heart attack victim Rachel to Wellington for life-saving surgery.
So a couple of bumps coming here. Okay, you're all locked in.
If you get any chest pain, any kind of niggles, anything in flight, or you're feeling sick or worried, just let me know and we'll try and work things out.
Drug therapy has failed to stop 49-year-old Rachel's heart attack, and every moment it continues, her heart is damaged further, but high winds could cause delays.
If possible, the roof would be the preference. They're waiting for it in the cath lab, but we'll just play it by ear. See how it goes. Yep.
Okay.
All good to left?
Yep, good to hear. You can hold on to me if you need to. If you need something to hold on to, right? Okay. She says she's not worried about flying. She's been in little planes before.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Rachel's youngest son is getting married in just over 6 months, and she's determined to be there for him.
You need to grab onto me, that's fine as well, because I might end up grabbing onto you. I think it's reassurance for both of us. It's nice to have something to hold on to. You know, to keep her calm is really good for her and good for the staff.
The team are still some way to hospital, and the weather is doing its worst.
I don't think you get spray on the window at 2,000 feet.
Karen's just trying to work out why he's increased in pain level. Yeah, it increased. You can let her know he didn't even get to 100 feet. He's been at sea level the whole way. Yep.
The fixed wing has reached the South Island with Ben sufferer Ron, but his pain is increasing despite every effort to keep him stable.
I'm concerned that the symptoms have worsened since we left Wellington.
You want to talk to somebody?
I might just talk to Sean. Put me through.
Life Flight's ability to communicate with the ground gives them the edge when dealing with changes mid-flight, and specialists recommend the team continue the journey.
So Ron, I'm going to give you a little bit of morphine, and we'll just see how it goes. I'd like the numbness to go away. It's just a small dose too.
Hello.
All good in the back there, Phil?
I'll get everyone to secure down.
Thank you.
Touching down on the Christchurch runway brings relief for Ron, who spent the journey thinking about the things that matter to him.
My family, my children, my wife, that's my concern. Who's going to look after them while I'm not there?
Okay for a night job?
Yeah.
Right, let's go, eh?
Bit of a bump.
The keen diver is still at risk of bubbles of nitrogen moving around his body. Ron must keep as still as possible.
I'm thinking about the chamber. Don't know what to expect.
The chamber is a new chamber. It's actually a square one, like a square room, like a cube. And it actually has a flushing toilet inside.
That's the important part.
Despite his experience, Ron is not planning on giving up the sport he loves, but his wife, who is staying home to look after their children, might have other plans.
I'm worried what's going to happen when I get home. Will I still have my dive equipment? That's what I'm afraid of. She's a lovely woman.
Ron will have to wait to find out as he spends the next few days having sessions on the hyperbaric chamber.
These hard and these stretches, you got nothing really to hold on to. You right?
En route to Wellington, severe winds are buffeting the Westpac rescue helicopter.
Is she relatively stable?
The team have to make a decision between landing at the airport or trying to reach the hospital roof.
The only concern is, you know, of course it's only 10 minutes, but it's...
Yep, it's 10 more minutes of heart tissue going.
It'll just depend on the wind, because it's still a bit blustery. About 5 minutes we'll know.
We're going to have a look at the hospital, eh?
All secure in the back?
Yep.
Yeah, good, thank you.
We're going to attempt the hospital, but no guarantees till we're safely down.
There's a good chance the wind direction might make the landing at the hospital a possibility.
One of the more sporting days in Wellington, isn't it?
I know, it's everywhere.
You all happy there?
Yep.
Okay.
Alan makes his approach to the hospital roof. But a sudden change in the wind speed drops them below the helipad.
Going airport.
Going round, guys. We'll be going to the airport. Yeah.
No problem.
Big hole there.
Big hole.
Landing at the hospital is a no-go, so the team opt for Plan B.
And Capital 01, forming out from the hospital area, we'd like to reposition for the airfield.
Going to the airport. Too windy.
Is that the hospital?
Yeah. Is there a helicopter?
Yeah, we've had to abort the landing there. We're going to land at the airport.
Capital 01, landing West April.
Comms, Airway Wellington landing, Wellington Airport.
Copy, thanks.
Thanks for trying. Thanks for a good flight.
You're welcome.
The team are back safely on the ground, but the damage to Rachel's heart continues. She must be operated on quickly.
Roger, lifting from the west, we've got the Cessna in sight. We'll get well clear, Cap 01.
A tramper has activated his emergency tracking beacon somewhere deep in the Tararua Ranges. Intensive care paramedic David Chittenden is preparing for all eventualities.
There's a chance it could be a medical condition or a significant fall or purely just someone who's quite hypothermic. Confirming this is a party of one? Unknown.
Unknown, yeah.
The emergency beacon is registered to a 48-year-old software engineer. Pilot Harry Stevenson and crewman Colin Larson will be using a homing device called a direction finder to try and locate his signal.
In the hills it can be quite tricky because the beams, the radio waves can bounce off hillsides and so on, but once you've had a little bit of practice with them, you can actually, you can generally work it out pretty well where it's coming from.
Whoa. Got a 406 lock, but I didn't see where it went.
The signal has disappeared, but they're in the right area.
It seems to me like this ridge out in our 10 o'clock is probably blocking us.
Okay, I've got a plane on the hill at 3 o'clock.
In the life flight hangar, adult educator Rachel is one step closer to the operation that could stop her heart attack.
I had to go trying to land on the roof, but it was the big, I'm sure you felt the gusts, and they decided it was safer for us to just come over to the airport.
Crewman Sam Coleman will be driving Rachel to hospital. She woke up with pain in her chest at 3 a.m, but never thought for a moment she was suffering a heart attack.
And didn't seem to have all the classic symptoms, but obviously I had pain, but there wasn't any pain in my arms.
Rachel, I'm going to disappear, but all the best with everything. I know you can't move, but hopefully I don't see you, but all the best with everything. You're very welcome.
The next hour is critical to ensuring Rachel's heart is protected from further damage.
Only a 3 o'clock Harry aircraft wreckage.
That's a World War II wreck.
Oh, good.
I was going to say, it does look old.
Thank God that's not ours.
Yeah, I don't think the beacon's coming from that.
Back in the Tararua Ranges, the team are focused on finding the source of a tramper's beacon alert.
Sometimes found in the hills that you get...
There it is.
There we go.
Just gone around to our left, Harry. Oh, he's down there at this hut.
Yeah, they're out waving, aren't they?
Yeah.
Up to here.
And they've just turned the beacon off.
Yeah, I think they consider themselves to be found.
What's that?
G'day, mate. Is it yours, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, bugger. Yeah. Well, this is Dave, our paramedic.
What's your name?
Dave.
Dave, right. What do you think you've done?
I had a torn knee cartilage back in earlier this year in May.
Right, okay.
And I seemed right. And
What about
about half an hour south and thought, I'm going to be a statistic if I keep going.
Yes. Take your time then, Dave, and we'll get you to the helicopter and then we'll do more of an assessment there on the way to hospital.
The reoccurrence of the badminton injury means Dave can walk in a straight line, but the twisting paths have proven too tough.
You'll have any lift back there, mate?
Okay, we're set secure, thanks.
If he'd set his beacon off another hour later, might not have been able to get into him.
Proceeding Wellington Hospital with one step for ETA 20 minutes.
The trampers made a good decision today to activate the beacon when he did, while the weather was reasonably clear. That's a message that we like to get out to everybody that's tramping, is really that they shouldn't be afraid to use the beacon. They don't get charged for us to come and rescue them from these situations. So using them sooner than later is always much, much better.
Capital 01 landing the hospital.
Down in the cath lab, Scott has discovered further damage to minor arteries, but the team must focus on the main culprit that is damaging Rachel's heart muscle.
We're going to take a balloon, going to stretch that open, and then we're going to put a stent in afterwards. Okay, balloon's going up, 12 atmospheres. Okay, balloon coming down.
Blockages are reducing blood flow, so Scott inserts a stent in Rachel's artery to widen the vital passage.
How you doing, Rachel?
After waking up, mother of 3, Rachel has no trouble remembering the day's dramatic flight.
I remember one bit in the middle where I could see the sea below, and it was very rough. And I remember holding the nurse's hand as time gets very confused. I wasn't even sure how long it had taken.
Scans revealed that Rachel had suffered damage to her heart muscle, but it is still pumping effectively. She underwent a second operation to insert another stent, and her son's wedding went off without a hitch.
So beacon activation, he was on his own. There's no way he was going to be able to get out with that level of pain.
In the emergency department, injured hiker Dave is becoming overwhelmed by the events of the day.
Oh, pretty emotional. Yeah, I've been looking forward to going tramping for a while. It's just sad that the body wasn't quite up to it. Yeah, you got to be ready to call it a day when time's up.
A knee operation and arthritis have made it difficult for Dave to move around, but he was determined to get back into tramping.
And yeah, I mean, it came right.
Okay.
To the point where I thought I could go up the Tower Rock.
Yeah, right.
I mean, yeah, it lasted 2 days. So.
Dave did not do any rehabilitation for the knee injury, but has begun walking short tramps. He has decided not to tackle any multi-day tramps by himself again.
Thank you to Lifeline. I don't know, my prospects weren't looking good without them. There's very few options when you're out in the wilderness like that without somebody like Lifeline to lend a hand when it's needed. So yeah, thanks very much.
Ben sufferer Ron had 3 sessions in the decompression chamber and returned to his family by bus. Ron was relieved his wife didn't throw out the diving equipment, and 3.5 months later, he was back in the water.